Learn more about the people you hear on WTMA. Check us out at WTMA.com and like us on Facebook.
1250 WTMA.
It's Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Curley. I'm Gary McNamara. Coming up on the top of the hour news, Eric, you had just brought up that Citadel study that cast doubt on green product claims. We'll give some specifics. It's a fascinating article coming up and a fascinating study coming up on the top of the hour.
Former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford wins, and he is now representative of the 1st District there in South Carolina. The congressional seat goes to a Republican who's had a lot of, stories in his background, to say the least. Let's get the local reaction as we go to Tara Servatius. She's the host of Tara on TMA, heard every weekday morning on our great affiliate News Talk 1250 WTMA in Charleston, South Carolina. Hi, Tara.
Hey there. How you doing?
Hey, doing great. So we know it's early in the Low Country, but what is the local reaction so far on Mr. Sanford's win?
People are really, really excited here. They are. They love Mark Sanford. I know that sounds crazy to the rest of the country.
Yeah, it does. It does to us.
Yeah. There's a reason for it. And people know Mark Sanford for the affair. And that was a lot for people here to get past. But, if you do talk radio, right, you get the caller almost every show, and they say, if we just had a guy who would vote against the stimulus, we just had a guy who'd vote against the pork, if we just had a guy who'd vote against the debt, and then we send Republicans up there, they never do. Well, Mark Sanford has. I mean, he was the only governor to turn back the stimulus money. He took a whooping here from his own party for that. He was voted against pork before that was cool, even when it was major projects in his own district, and took a whooping here for that. He's one of the few in the country that will do that, and we've seen, people here have seen the political pain he went through for that stuff, and they are just crazy, rabid loyal to him.
He was a rising star in the Republican Party before the affair.
Yeah.
And so what has been the reaction? And you've had Mr. Sanford on your show quite a bit. So what is his reaction to those who say he abandoned his post as governor and we can't trust him? Set the affair aside, he abandoned his post as governor. What's his reaction?
There's a lot of misunderstanding about that nationally. He didn't. He finished his term out.
In terms of where he was during the affair and what he said he was doing, or where he said he was, and he wasn't actually there, and so that became a concern of many people, including me.
Yeah, well, I know. What Mark has said about that, and when he's come on my show, is, listen, I was always available when I was in Argentina. Two of the three trips that he took were organized by the Commerce Department, by bureaucrats. But he said I was always available. As soon as the whole thing broke and I knew I was busted, I got back on a plane and came right back. I was always there. He said I was always, people, knew where I was. So. Mm-hmm. And that's been what he said, but he's also apologized for it and said, look, I screwed up.
How good of a candidate was the Democrat challenger, Elizabeth Colbert Bush?
She was as good as it gets, except for one thing. She tweeted a lot during the primary, and we were the ones who busted her on this. Support for unions, making fun of Republicans for not wanting to socialize medicine, and then deleted all that. And it was archived by the Sunlight Foundation, and we got a hold of it, and then the campaign got a hold of it, and people were able to see what she really was.
Yeah. So at the end of the day here, ideology wins. It's certainly a heavy Republican district, District 1 is, and as we said earlier, it really does come down to the vote. It's a vote that conservatives know they're going to get out of Mark Sanford. I guess they can trust that they'll get whatever votes they want in the conservative agenda in Congress. So that has to be what wins at the end of the day, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he was rated the most fiscally conservative governor by Cato, the most conservative member of Congress by Citizens Against Government Waste. He defeated 15 other candidates in the primary. I mean, so people really appreciate, in this time of the spending, and they're just breaking our backs nationally, people just really wanted to send a guy who would say no, and they did.
Yeah. What is on the agenda from Mr. Sanford? What is it that he's promising here that he's going to work for?
He's basically said he's going to go up there and challenge Obamacare. He's going to fight the debt. He's not going to be a rubber stamp for spending by Republicans or by Democrats.
Tara, when we look at the House right now, and you look at the leadership, you look at a John Boehner, you look at a Marco Rubio and the problems that he has had with immigration. I know Paul Ryan. Again, I think very well thought of from most conservatives. I know the comment that he made, I believe it was on gay marriage last week, may have cost him from some of the social conservatives. But there is, I think, out there, and tell me whether you see it, that there is this imagery that the House isn't being as strongly conservative as they should. And do your listeners believe that Mark Sanford will help keep them in line or on that path to a more, especially fiscal conservative message?
Absolutely. I mean, that was a big part of this, especially after the National Party drop-kicked him. I mean, that really made a lot of people angry here.
Yeah.
And it made him, rally behind Mark Sanford even more.
Yeah. Is there anything, what locally are they hoping for? What are the issues there in that district and in Charleston?
And very quickly, I just want to throw in, what's the trespassing charge, too? What is that about?
Basically, he and his ex-wife still are not, his ex-wife's not happy with him, understandably. But, he went to watch the Super Bowl with his son when she was out of town. He tried to contact her. She didn't answer. His son wanted, to watch the Super Bowl with him at the house, and he made the decision to stay. And that actually helped him a lot here because it made him look like a good dad.
Yeah. Tara Servatius, everyone will tune in, of course, every weekday morning as they do. Tara on TMA, our great news talk, 1250 WTMA there in Charleston.
Thanks,
Tara, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Interesting.
Well, always great to get the local perspective because at times we don't know what's going on the ground.
It's very different.
Right.
It's very different on the local level, and thanks to Tara for clearing that up.
Not surprised at all, though.
No.
This is Red Eye Radio on the Cumulus Media Network.